Se você é fã de rock, sabe que este é um momento histórico. O Candlebox está chegando ao Brasil. Eu sou o Marcos Frank e hoje bato um papo com o Kevin Martin sobre essa turnê tão aguardada. Vamos falar sobre a expectativa para os shows em São Paulo, a relação da banda com os fãs sul-americanos e por que você não pode perder essa performance que promete ser quente, suada e barulhenta, como o próprio Kevin define. Kevin, é um prazer imenso falar com você. So, it's the first time Candlebox is coming to Brazil. How's the expectations of this first time here?
What are my expectations?
Yeah.
Um, I'm expecting a great time. I have our tour manager of 17 years, Carlos, is from Sao Paulo. So he speaks very highly of his homeland and his country. And we are so excited to come. We've been trying to come to Brazil for 30 plus years. So I think that for us, this is going to be quite the joy, quite the pleasure.
Hmm. And what can we expect of this show? Are you guys going to play the first two records, or are you guys going to play like more other songs? What are the expectations of the set list for this show?
Well, it kind of depends. I think, depending on the set length that we're allowed, it will mostly be probably heavy on the debut album. A couple songs from Lucy, a couple songs from Happy Pills, a couple songs from In the Sun, et cetera, et cetera. We'll just, it's usually about 16 songs to 20 songs in our set, but just really depends on the time. But, we'll certainly have to get a read from the audience as to what they want to hear. So I think we'll be paying close attention to what our Spotify playlist is in Brazil, which we look at all the time. The second largest audience for us in the world is in Brazil. So we want to make sure we give the people what they want.
I am a super Candlebox fan, and it's for me a dream come true. Have the
Thank you.
possibility of seeing Candlebox live because
Thank you.
I've heard you guys so much in my life that
That's
it's
great.
like something incredible having the opportunity
Thank
to
you.
see you guys. So it is also the first time that we are going to hear the first album, at least some songs live.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit, at least me, in this case, a little bit about the big explosion Candlebox had on the first album, and then how the challenge developed itself to be like to overtop this first album?
Right. Well, I think that when we made the record, I don't think we really expected it to be as successful as it was. I think that we had hoped that people would listen to it. We had hoped that it would reach an audience that cared about music and what we were creating. With the success of it came all the distractions, and the distractions of drugs and alcohol and cars and homes and all the kind of the BS that goes along with becoming a rock star, if you will.
Hmm.
So when it came time to make the Lucy record, I think we were distracted, and our label should have really come up to Seattle and sat down with us and said, "Hey guys, let's take a break." But that's hard to do when you're coming off of 3.5 million records sold, and they're about to release the Alanis Morissette record, and they want to continue on that success. So there's a lot of pressure that comes from the label, and a lot of pressure that came from within. We were trying really hard to push ourselves to create something different. We did not want to remake the debut album. We did not want to rewrite A Far Behind, which a lot of bands do. They try to continue to capitalize on that sound. Now, in this day and age, it works. Bands like Nickelback or whatever, they've rewritten, and that's not,
100
I'm not,
times. Yeah.
I'm not talking crap. I'm just saying, like, they're able to do that because an audience grew into that. And I think that with us, that was not the case back then. You couldn't do that. No one wanted you to do that. People wanted different music from you. So we made the decision, and it was a, you know, it was a critical decision. It wasn't really smart of us to do, but we made a decision that set us on a different path. But the beauty of that was it allowed us to create happy pills and to create Into the Sun and to create love stories and other musings and disappearing airports. And so it by making that collective decision, it opened the doors for us to go in any direction we wanted to go. Which I think of bands like Nothing But Thieves and Soundgarden that did the same thing. You know, push yourself to a place where you can continue to create the music you want to create, and that's what Candlebox does.
And it's interesting that you guys come from Seattle, where there's lots, like so many different music. Even it's labeled grunge, but it's
Mhm.
so much diverse. Per Jam and Nirvana and Candlebox and Soundgarden. Um, and you guys do not fit, in my point of view, in like a grunge kind of music. How was it like to be in that scene with such a diverse styles in this point of view?
It was amazing. I mean, I think that's why Seattle will be considered the last great rock and roll art movement. Because that I mean, if you were to meet Andy, Chris, Kurt, eh, Lane, Eddie, Mark Lanigan, Mark Arm, myself, Tad, Buzzo, if you were to put us all in a line and talk to us, completely different people, completely different artists, and but with one thing in common: love for music and love for art, and that's like why it was such an amazing city. And you know, for me, I was a young kid. I mean, when I met Chris, I was 16 years old, working in the shoe store with his manager, then manager Susan Silver, and he was 21 years old. You know, so we know Candlebox. We were like the little brother that, you know, they didn't want at the party. They weren't assholes about it. They just were like, you guys stay over there, you know. And that was hard for us, but at the same time, it allowed us to be the band that we became, and it allowed us to be the band that we were. And I think that that's kind of why that city is so special, is because even though there was that relationship that they all had together, they all really pushed back on one another as well. And I think that that's why it created the music, it created that city.
Hmm. And it is interesting that there are not other bands that could also come to Brazil, like Collective Soul, for example, that never that they have like one hit wonder, at least in Brazil, from Shine, that song Shine, and they also did not came to Brazil. What is it with those bands that start coming that late to South America? Is it something that maybe it's somehow, what if, I don't know, maybe it's something different? Don't you guys think that there's an audience that want to hear you guys here?
Oh no, 100%. We know that. Absolutely. Every band in America knows how important Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Lima, you know, Cartagena. Every band in Seattle knows that, and Latin America in general, South America, Latin America. We know the importance of it. It's so expensive. It is very, very difficult to get down there on your own, and then you have to find a promoter. And if you're a young band, or if you're even a band of our, you know, 33 years, it's hard to find a promoter that you it's you know even in the United States, you know, there are corrupt promoters all over the United States, and the problem is if we make a decision to come down there to work with a promoter that we don't really know, that doesn't really have a great reputation, you run the risk of buying tickets and showing up and having nothing to do. No visas. You know, we've got to pay for visas to come to the country. You've got your crew. So it's really, this opportunity for us is so amazing because we've wanted it for so long. You know, I mean, I was talking to Ed Rollin from Collective Soul not too long ago. I was like, man, you need to go to South America with us. Let's go down there. Maybe it's Stone Temple Pilots, Collective Soul, and Candlebox. Let's do South America. You know, let's make a tour of it and really make it happen. And they're reluctant because it's the finances that are attached to it. It's the same thing in trying to tour Europe. It's incredibly expensive. But just so you know, every single American band knows how brilliant that country is, how important those fans are, and we all want to come down there and play for them. Every single one of us.
Wow. And if you think about the discography that even is now much larger than the Far Behind and the first album from
Mhm.
Candlebox, which is, in your point of view, the more injustice album from your discography?
Oh, gosh, man, it's I would say the last five records we released. I think, people know Lucy, some people know Happy Pills, but I think that Love Stories and Other Musings, Into the Sun, Disappearing in Airports, Wolves, The Longer By, I think they offer so much insight into the band, um, and into what we're capable of as musicians. And it's that's kind of the thing that I'm most kind of heartbroken over, is that everybody just wants to hear the first album, and there's so much more music that we've produced, so many great songs. And but if I had to pick one, I would probably say, the most underrated record we've made would probably be, Into the Sun. Yeah, because it's a brilliant record. It's a great comeback album for us. We hadn't been a band for 8 years when we made that record, and the songs that we wrote for that album are really special.
And do you guys play songs from that album?
Yeah, we do. On this tour right now, we're playing four songs from it, which is I'm so happy because Pete's back, and we can play those songs because they're not easy songs. When we had Brian in the band, there's a lot of intricacies on that record that he just felt he couldn't play, so we didn't play them.
And the lineup today is the same lineup you had in the past, or is it a new lineup? Is it like only, or is it only you from the original lineup?
No, Pete and I, the original guitar player. Pete's back,
Okay.
and then we have on drums this guy named BJ, is a good friend of ours. Island on guitar, and Adam on bass. Adam's been with Pete and I since 2005, so he's been with us a long, long time.
And how is it like collaborating with new music with him?
It's great. I mean, Adam's been one of our key songwriters in the studio. Certainly with me, with Disappearing in Airports, Wolves. Adam is one of the key writers on both of those records with me.
Awesome.
And of course,
And
Pete and I are working on a new Candlebox record now.
wow. And what
Yeah,
can we expect for this new album?
I don't know. we've got eight songs that we've got 8 songs that are in development, that we're cutting up, and kind of making sure that they're working for us. We'll release probably one or two singles this year, and then an album next year.
Awesome. I would like you to say something for the fans that should come to the Candlebox show, and leave a message to the people that are still in doubt. I won't miss it. I won't miss this opportunity to see Candlebox live, but you can still please leave a message to the people that are still doubting on coming to the show.
Well, what I would say is you're going to miss a hell of a show, because if you love Candlebox, we put on an amazing show, and it'll be hot and sweaty and loud, and it'll be hopefully every song you want to hear. It's heavy on the debut album, of course, because we know the value of that. But there's a lot of stuff off of Lucy, a lot of stuff off of Happy Pills, and et cetera, et cetera. So if you love Candlebox, don't miss the show, because I don't know how soon we'll be getting back to Brazil.
Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a good day, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Really,
Thank you, Marcos.
it means a lot to me. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Ciao.